Hello everybody, welcome to Beer Reviews. Tonight we have a little beer coming from a London 10. This is another beer by Brew by Numbers. I believe we did one of their beers at Beer Town in Malton. This one is Session IPA with Amarillo and Nelson at 4.3%. I like the little kind of labels and styling they've got. Simple, the numbers of the brews and stuff on it, so you can kind of literally follow the numbers to find the beer you want. And a little description of the beer on the side as well. This one's saying Style, Session IPA, Recipe, Amarillo and Nelson Sauvin hops. 4.3%, 330ml, bottled on the 5th of the 3rd, best before 5th of the 7th. So this one is quite old actually. Having said that, so this one's been around for a while, so it's not going to be the freshest of beers, but it's still within its date. Low ABV beer with a hop kick. So, let's crack this one open and see what we've got. Not the freshest, but I'm sure it'll be alright. Oopsie-daisy. Pretty fizzy when it first popped it, lots of smoke coming out. Let's pour it on out and see what we have. Tons and tons of carbonation in that. Can you see how much frothing I'm getting there? Nice amount of head on it too though, having said that. Good couple of fingers, maybe even pushing the limits with 3. Nice big and foamy. Really lovely and pale colour going on there, kind of strawy really. Maybe just twinging a tiny bit on peachy. So, let's get a nose on this and see what we find. Ooh, sticking my nose in. Right, well it has a very dank smell to it. A really kind of weed bag smell. I'm struggling to find much of the Nelson. It was maybe just a little hint. Usually with Nelson you get quite a distinctive white wine sort of smell. White wine. Obviously Nelson Sauvin smelling like Sauvignon Blanc. But I'm getting really dense Amarillo. It's quite piney. Very marijuana-esque. And perhaps just a touch of mango, something tropical on it. But overall, it's stupendously dense smelling. Maybe a tiny bit oxidised too. It smells a little bit cardboardy, but it isn't the freshest. Isn't the freshest. So anyway, without further ado, cheers everyone. Yeah, the dankness carries across well into the palate. Not a humongous amount of malt to kind of back this one up. And it's quite dry too, and light in body, but a ton of effervescence going on. So they're clearly kind of hell restrained on the malt side. There's just a little touch of very light biscuit flavour, just kind of touching the tongue. Very, very, very light in terms of sweetness and caramel. But that what has allowed is for a nice punch of hops to come through at the back. So initially I get a tiny bit of sweetness, and it dries out quite quickly. And then I get a bit of a wallop of Amarillo. Again, I can't particularly get notes of white wine on there, or kind of oaky notes. I'm getting mainly an Amarillo-y sort of flavour, and I'm particularly getting that dense and dankness I was talking about. And perhaps not the full-rounded orange and citrusy notes that you usually get, like a super orangey note from an Amarillo hop. I've not particularly got it in this, nor have I got the winey flavours from Nelson. Instead I'm getting like a dense hop, like a crammed in hop flavour. I couldn't say this is the best one I've had by Brew by Numbers, not by a long shot. It almost comes across as a little bit butyric. I smelt it on the nose with maybe a bit of oxidation, and I still get a little bit afterwards as well, just this tiny little... Sometimes when things are perhaps over hopped, I just get this. Well, butyric acid smells a bit sicky. Smells a bit off. Smells a little bit like smells a little bit like garbage, which really doesn't make this beer sound particularly good, but it isn't particularly bad either. But it's certainly not the best hop forward, low ABV beer I've had. It certainly isn't. Finding it hard to be too kind of wow, I'm really enjoying this about this, because if I'm honest, I'm not enjoying what hop flavours there. Session IPA, so I understand why it's meant to be a bit lighter, a little bit spritzier, not too punchy in that sense. Understand that, and in those, in that brief, it ticks those boxes. I just don't think I get a huge amount of hop flavour. It all seems a little bit muddled. All just seems a bit muddled. Now, if this bottle's been left out and it's been light struck, that's why I'm getting oxidised flavours in it. If it's just because it is, pardon me, over a year old now, that too is probably a huge reason as to why it's not absolutely 100% fantastic. But overall, that explains why you should drink beers fresh. Drink beers fresh. Because I cannot say that I would have this one again if this is how the beer is supposed to be tasting. So in terms of rating for me on this one, would I have it again? These are the simple benchmarks that gives me a 7 out of 10. If would I have it again? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have this again. If this is how it's supposed to taste, no, I wouldn't. It's still okay. Still alright. Wouldn't be too disappointed if I had it in a bar. So I should probably give this a 6 out of 10. See where it's going. Execution has to be better than this. If this was fresh, I'm sure it would be a lot better. I really am. So take it with a pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt. This one's an old ball. I ordered it online. Not particularly lovely. And keep your eyes open for a fresh bottle because I'm sure it'll be better. Careful of those older bottles. So there you go. Please like, favourite, comment, subscribe. If you've had this one fresher, please tell me I'm wrong. I'd really like to hear it because I do quite like Brew by Numbers beers. And until next baby review, cheers.